Doesn't mean that RotterdaM has to play WTL when Serral is away. To quote the GOAT himself, we'll see about that. No, I don't think it will ever be part of any BASILISK plan to have Roddy as a regular starter. You know, there is obviously a chance that I'll play a game once in a while. Unfortunately, this season it was just too close and too competitive and everything mattered. soO looks cool, by the way. Also, a nice jacket. Nice trophy. Oh, look at this. It's the battle of the trophies. soO's like, look at mine, Yona. It's pretty big. And Yona's like, I've got it too, mate. I don't know what you're flexing over here, but... Anyway, in the top right side, over at who's set, we are looking at the main base of the great Yona Sotala, Serral. And in the bottom left side, the man who ended that absolutely magical streak that Serral was on once upon a time. In 2019, your IEM Katowice champ of that year, soO for the Africa Freecs. Roddy is always a star. I don't know about that. I think I'm the least bright star of the four. But on top of that, we are obviously not aiming to have me start a whole bunch. Like, if this final match would not have mattered to us or any of the other teams in the league, yeah, then I would have loved to play. But it's also important to respect the integrity of the competition. And Platinum Heroes and Africa Freecs are very close to each other. And if I would drop 2 maps against the Africa Freecs, there is a world where they finish above Platinum Heroes. And that's obviously not nice, right? Because when Platinum Heroes played against BASILISK, they had to go up against Trigger, Reynor, and Serral. And all 3 of them are very good. And if then Africa Freecs play against us, and they can 2-0 me and win a couple maps. So obviously these things are very important to keep in mind. Now, I think I would have had a tiny chance to win a map, maybe. But today was not the day. A, we really want to win, because we want to guarantee top 2. And B, well, we didn't know that in advance, but there was that tiny chance. And it turned out that that actually played out exactly in that way, that we would have a chance to finish second. And B, out of respect for the Platinum Heroes, we decided to send our A team. And Roddy will stay where he belongs. On the bench, baby. And I'm completely okay with that, guys. No camera for Serral. I don't know if that means that he is not at home. I do hope that he can join us for an interview, though. Even if he can't, I will still try to have a little chitty chat with Trigger and Reynor. Because I do think that is nice to wrap up the regular season. But hopefully Yona can join us. Can you give us a little Southern US accent demo? No. Especially not right now. If you ask me in 2 weeks, when hopefully everything is cleared up, I'm willing to give it a shot. But right now it would be beyond terrible, mate. You don't want to hear it. Yeah, maybe there's just a problem with Zoom. Sorry, I was distracted. We have a couple of links of Serral running to the other side of the map. Just making sure, I guess, that soO is not doing anything too weird, too crazy. This is also going to give Serral the very early scout. He saw the spawning pool wiggle. That means that at the bare minimum, his opponent has minus 100 gas. Are we ever going to have any Zorglings here, by the way, soO? Well, soO wanted to make the very bare minimum, and rightfully so. soO probably knows that Serral is not going to do anything too wild, too crazy, and just wants to make sure that things are normal on the other side of the map. So if you are the underdog here as soO in ZVZ, you can obviously cut a couple of corners. Show match between Roddy and Chelsea. Well, I don't want to make the official announcement yet, because I always leave that up to the folks of WTL, but I did get a DM with a request to record a video with a bunch of players, some BASILISK players and other WTL players that will play in the playoffs. And then they also asked if I want to play against Chelsea again. And they said that he's going to get coached by Maxed once more, so he's going to take it very serious. He wants revenge. Round 3, the absolute final round. I'll bop that old man again. If he wants to get bopped, I'll bop him. What do you think is Serral's biggest weakness in each matchup? Biggest weakness is honestly pretty hard, mate, because if I think of Serral's ZVP, and you're asking me, Roddy, what is Serral's biggest weakness in ZVP? He's pretty damn good at it. Like, I feel like anything that we would describe as biggest weakness would already be overly dramatic. I think in ZVZ we can say that it could be Mudas, or at least extremely greedy random builds and early game all-ins that sometimes get the best of Serral, but that's just the way that mirror matchups work, and it is hard to always figure it out. soO is going to drop a Spire, by the way, speaking of Mudas. I think in ZVT, I wouldn't say that he's got a biggest weakness either. If you want to beat Serral, and this is why it's so hard to beat him in general, you kind of just have to play better than him across the board. There are very little tricks that you can pull out where you're like, yeah, now I'll get him. Why isn't this ESL lineup Blizzard really effed up? Well, mate, this is not an ESL tournament. WTL Code S has nothing to do with ESL. ESL is just a esports company that runs certain leagues but doesn't run every single league. Not everything has to be ran by ESL or through ESL. And it's a good thing that that's not the case, because otherwise if they would ever decide to not run Starcraft, we would be completely screwed and we'd have nothing. So this has nothing to do with ESL. ESL is a German company, and the folks over at WTL are Chinese. Ratu said station is his biggest weakness in ZVP. I don't know, mate. Serral's late game is pretty good, and this map kind of screams late game. So soO has 9 BASILISK on the way, and the Baneling nest has been planted down. As Serral is going to send an Overseer into the main base, we'll know exactly what's up. This doesn't really come, I think, as a big surprise to Serral, but it is going to make it a rather annoying game. And Serral did make a couple of safety roaches that he didn't really need. So yeah, if soO in the year 2023 was ever going to have a good chance against Serral, I would kind of say it's in this particular game. Build order-wise, I think it has all worked out very well for soO. I know that it is owned by the Savvy group, but that doesn't make the initial company not German, right? At least not in my eyes. ESL to me is still a German company, and they have their offices there. That's like saying that Volvo is now Chinese because they have Chinese investors. I think we all look at Volvo and still think of Volvo as a Swedish company. At least I hope so. Has nothing to do with it, Miesenhauer. And if you want to start up that conversation, mate, there are great places to do it. But I don't think it's too relevant to BASILISK versus the King Africa Freecs, as we are watching Serral against soO. Discord is a great place for that. Reddit will love you. Team Liquid. Should we hate Volvo too then, guys? Oh no. Why doesn't ESL give points for Wardy's tournaments? To be fair, I think Wardy is cool enough that they kind of should. I think Alex and Wardy should team up, because Wardy does run a bunch of amazing tournaments. But I don't think anybody was outraged over here, Miesenhauer. It was just a conversation. Somebody asked me why this tournament didn't give ESL points. And then I just answered that this is not an ESL tournament. I don't think that means that I'm outraged at ESL or anything. Assuming you're part of the Africa Freecs, would you have been happy with the pairings of this match? I honestly think that yes, I think they are happy with it. Even if it went well for Reynor against stats. Keen has a very good TVP. And obviously I think soO, his best chance is in ZVZ. Maybe ZVZ against Reynor could have worked out as well. As he's even bringing a couple of drones to the other side of the map. Yeah, I think giving the strength of the lineups and giving their possibilities in this clan war, I think this was about as good as it could have gone for them. But the beauty about Starcraft is, guys, that it's not all about luck or seeding or rolling the dice. It is a game of skill, and I still believe in our players. Huh? Looks like Serral also hanged up his webcam. Well, apparently it was working early in the beginning of the game. soO is gonna try to roll in a whole bunch of banelings, and these banelings will get fungal, but they might still get some good connections. No, they don't connect really with anything at all. Fungal, even in the year 2023, is still pretty good. And soO had a pretty big piggy bank. Well, is actually losing things very quickly. He's trying to mine out the backdoor minerals. The roaches are battling the drones as the mutas are trying to battle the roaches. As the parasitic bomb now goes down as well. soO trying to do whatever he can to just open up one more entrance into the 3 bases of Serral. But Serral says, nope, not today. If this was 4 years ago, today's match would be epic. Yeah, on paper it definitely looked very cool. But, you know, the boys are getting better. And once more, stats did qualify for IM Katowice. And I think we could already see a better stats today than we saw throughout a lot of the other playdays of WTL Codes. soO is obviously going to have a very hard time. I thought if it was ever going to be close, it's kind of with Muda Ling Bane against Roaches and Hydras of Serral. But honestly, Serral is kind of weathering the storm here without really breaking much of a sweat. soO had a plan, but Serral read him like a book. And he said, nope, you are not going to mine out my pocket expand minerals. And if you want to attack me, you're going to have to roll into my Infestus and Lurkus. Yeah, that hasn't gone very well for soO. Who's now going to try to go Ultras, but as far as I know, Lurkers are pretty good against Ultras too. For soO. soO should have, by the way, at the bare minimum, in my opinion, taken his own gold. I feel like he had all the time in the world to take his own gold base, fully saturated. You can obviously open up your own pocket expense to make rallying units to the other side of the map a bit easier. You take out the debris, you mine out the own minerals at your third. And I don't know if that really would have helped him a whole lot, but at least that would have set him up a tiny bit better for this phase of the game. I would love to see the units lost resource step. I have the feeling that soO lost like 6,000 resources more already. And that is an insane amount in ZVZ in a 12-minute game. Serral not really giving soO any opening so far. If you guys obviously have any questions to any of the Basilisk folks, you guys can always try to join the Basilisk Discord. The link just got posted in my chat. It is a community Discord, so all of you guys are more than welcome to join. And if you want to hang out there and support the Basilisk players, wish them Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, cheer for them in the playoffs, feel free to join. It's a bunch of lovely nerds in that Discord. Discord.gg/basiliskgg, in case you missed it. For a Mudaling Bane game, very little has happened now in the last 2 minutes. That's mostly just because it has not been possible for soO to make anything happen. Meanwhile, Serral says, alright, you've had your fun on my side of the map. Now I'm going to have some fun on your side of the map. With a bunch of roaches with tunneling claws, as soO's main army is pretty far out of position. And lurker count is high. soO is gonna go for it again, guys. And Serral, I think Serral is waiting until soO actually commits to the attack. And then I think he's just going to unburrow everything. Because it will be a lot harder for soO to have a good response against this kind of stuff if he is focused on attacking. It's actually now, by the way, I only realized that it's soO who's trying to take the gold base of Serral. Does he not know that he has his own gold? I don't know what that's all about, guys, but soO has taken the gold hatchery of Serral. I mean, let him cook, right? I'm not sure if that's the best place to take a hatchery. Alright, Serral said, alright, I've waited long enough. I can't hold it in any longer. Let's go ahead and unburrow a couple of these roaches. Deal some good economic damage as 23 drones go down that quickly. So I guess Serral saw with his changelings that the army was on the other side of the map. They said, alright, I don't want to wait any longer because as cool as roaches are, the later the game goes, the more that the roach falls off a little bit. And Serral obviously doesn't want to battle a whole bunch of ultras with roaches. So I guess we're just going to free up some supply and make some more hydras, make some more lurkers. Lurkers can seize it from the natural too, right? Not totally sure about that. I feel like a tank would, but I don't know about the lurker. Yeah, actually, if you burrow your lurkers all the way on the edge, I think they will at least touch a couple of the drones that are mining. Like, you won't be able to attack the hatchery, but you will definitely be able to attack the drones that are mining from it. Serral has a very big bank. And there's a lot of lurkers. And soO honestly just seems kind of stuck in this game. It feels a little bit sad, because it feels that soO right now has been running around for the last 6 minutes like a chicken without its head on. And he's just kind of not totally sure what he's doing. Or what he's supposed to be doing. He is maxed out. He's got money in the bank. But this game does not feel competitive or close. Unless, I guess, we have like the sexiest ultralisk engagement ever. Just don't really see it. soO obviously historically has never really been the late game master. Especially not in ZVZ. Biggest strength of soO was always just making a lot of roaches, hydras, zerglings, banelings early on and getting the job done. As we have the good old combination, guys, of fungal growth and parasitic bomb. Seems that our observer did not think it was very exciting. I thought it was exciting. But he wants to show you guys how a bunch of ultras are going to get absolutely obliterated on the right side of the map. Most of the mutas did survive, so I guess soO did a good job in splitting up his army. Trade-wise, this has to be one of the most cost-efficient ZVZs that Serral has ever played in his entire life. And we know that Serral likes to take a good trade or two, but yeah, I don't really know where to go with this for you guys. It feels like a very one-sided affair. Similar to my first marriage. Just kidding, guys, I never got married. I just kind of wish that I got married and had a divorce so I can make that joke. But I never got married. Broodlords in ZVZ remind me of a game between Serral and I think Solar. It was a Korean Zerg, and I'm going to assume it was Solar. During one of the stay-at-home story cups during our COVID era. Where they had an insane game, and Serral just survived and survived and survived. And then Solar made like 25 Broodlords and they all got abducted. I think that was actually the most cost-efficient ZVZ that Serral has ever played in his life. Weren't you married to that female tennis player? I don't even know which one you mean, mate. A lot of them are pretty amazing. Just like Zombie Grub said, Serral loves to play with his food. I don't think that Serral is really playing with his food in this particular game. I think Serral is just playing it very safe. Obviously, Yona never really enters a game that he doesn't want to win. Rot, who said, is an incredibly large map. So what Serral doesn't want to do is have a silly throw where he moves out too early and he gets eliminated by like lings with adrenal glands and ultras. I don't see Yona too much as someone that messes around. I see Yona as someone who wants to make sure he doesn't throw. Which is not exactly the same as playing with food. I feel like if anything, Reynor is the one who likes to have more fun in games where he knows he's won. He will make a couple of funny moves. You want Broodlords? I think you'll get some Broodlords. Ultras are just not finding any opportunity to get on top of these lurkers of Serral. As Yona is having a good old time. I'm not sure if soO really knows where he wants to go. He is heading in some spellcasters, so that kind of excites me. Serral just abducted 2 overseers and a baneling. I want you guys to know that Serral just abducted a baneling. Huh? I feel kind of sad for soO. It's like these games where you are maxed out and you know that you're not supposed to leave, right? Because you have money in the bank, you're maxed out. But it also feels like you've got a less than 1% chance to win. And the reason for that is, guys, that Serral is A, incredibly freaking good in the late game. B, just has a much better army. C, has a much bigger bank. And D, it feels like he knows exactly where he wants to go. And soO, honestly, it kind of seems like he's just throwing a bunch of mud to the wall and hoping that some of it is going to stick. Yeah. Hello, Govis. Oh, nice fungo though here by soO. soO does land a fungo, and he's now going to send it with his ultras, and he's going to try to get on top of a couple of these lurkers, and he gets one or two, but yeah, killing hydras is one thing, and I always believe that he will be able to kill hydras. Another nice fungo there. So the spellcasting not looking too shabby on this side of soO. The biggest problem though is that killing hydras is always doable. Killing lurkers is a whole lot more difficult. That was very quick, by the way. I tried to count the numbers. Seemed that Serral only lost a few thousand resources less. We have a bunch of parasitic bombs. soO now just spamming parabombs at Vipers, hoping that that's a good way to kill them. Honestly, I feel like this is the first that I see soO with Vipers and Infestors in the same game. I kind of like it. What I like less for him is that he has a whole bunch of Ultras that have 5 HP. And those are going to get obliterated. Few more Overseers getting abducted. soO has 8,300 minerals and 3,500 gas in the bank. But he's losing all of his drones. He's losing his bases. He says, alright, this is it. I'm going to reveal my Broodlords, baby. But Serral has a lot of Vipers, and he's going to abduct them one by one, and he's going to kill them one by one. One of the fungos does land, but every single Broodlord gets abducted. And if you guys wonder, why don't people build Broodlords against Serral? This is why. This is not too different from that ZVZ that I mentioned. Poor soO, guys. I just want to give soO a hug. He has 86 supply, but he has over 10,000 resources in the bank. And now he's making one spine crawler. Oh. Can we redeem some channel points and give soO a hug or two in the chat? Alright, soO said, I know what I want. I want 11 more Ultras. What is this game? This is kind of the equivalent of LeBron James going to high school. He's like, what up, kids? I heard you're ballers. And he's picking out all the Frenchmen and he's slam dunking them in the face. He's like, whoa, you couldn't stop that? Maybe high school is not the best example. We should have gone for a big man right now who's very good and powerful in the NBA. Maybe the dude from the Milwaukee Bucks. And now he's slam dunking on top of Jordan. You know? What's up, old man? Can't keep up. soO's gonna send it one more time, but all those lurkers, guys, are still here. We have a bunch of parasitic bombs going down, and this is honestly a very chaotic fight. And the Ultras are finding some success. The problem is just that the Ultras are eventually going to be in trouble. And he lost the Overseers. Serral killed the Overseers by dropping some parabombs, maybe abducting a couple of them into spore crawlers. So soO can no longer see the lurkers. That's a bit of a problem, because the lurkers are burrowed. And you need an Overseer. I gotta say, the Ultras did kind of decent there. Yeah, Giannis and then Anti... I have no idea how to pronounce his last name. But I know he's very good. Whatever happened to that... was it Derrick Rose from the Chicago Bulls? Is he still playing? Because he was MVP once, and then I just never heard of him ever again. I know he got injured for a while. soO decided he had enough of this game, guys. Turns out that Ultras, no matter how many of them you build, are not all that great against lurkers on top of ramps in choke points. Especially if you can no longer see them. GG gets called. Serral gets the 1-0 lead, and that means we're up 3-0. And we are just one map win away from actually clinching second place in the regular season. That came as a bit of a surprise to all of us. Shout out to the Swedish Zerg god that is Nemshar. Shout out to Geralt as well. And obviously shout out to MaxPax for just being MaxPax and being amazing. Rose still plays. He's on Memphis. His knees were just bad. Prime Rose was great. So he still plays for the Grizzlies. How old is he right now? Is Derrick Rose like proper old already? Or if he was healthy, would he still have a couple of good years inside of him? 35, that's kind of old. At least he still had a long career then. That's not too bad. Stupid question. Can you abduct your own units to save them? Yes, you can. Oh, you cannot? I thought you can. Are you sure you cannot abduct your own unit? I really thought you could. I feel like I've seen that once. Am I crazy? Yeah. I think you can. Yeah, somebody said you cannot, so I was like, well, I think you can abduct your own units. What's a good resource to get into the game again? So there is not really one place, mate, that I would really say is the ultimate place to find build orders, etc. Because people don't really write out build orders anymore in text files. This is not something that you see that often. But what you can do is spend some time on Twitch or YouTube, and there are a million great videos out there. You can watch professional players and see what they do, as the overlay kind of tells you everything you need to know these days. You can watch people just play the game in 1v1 and ask them some questions. When it comes to Zerg streamers, I think Lambo is the very best that you're going to find. But you also see Pig stream some Zerg. You'll see Loco stream Zerg once a month. And who else is out there? Laser has actually been streaming a very decent amount. So you can visit any of those guys, and I'm sure they're willing to answer a question or two. Cold Bar, Eva. Yeah, but Eva plays more Protoss than he plays Zerg these days. Fiont streaming a tiny bit. Lorimbo. Ragnarok, indeed. I saw him live the other day. Alright, guys, here we go. It is match point for Basilisk. In the top left side, we are looking at the main base of the great Jonas Sutala. It is Serral. The bottom right side, the man with his beautiful IEM trophy behind him. Thought he had some momentum, thought it was maybe going somewhere, but it felt that his entire game plan was mine out the pocket expand of Serral and then just rally in Lings and Banes and completely overwhelm him. It never happened, so it wasn't his game. It is Africa, Freecs, soO. Ow, my eyebrow. If we do end up winning this match, I would say overall, this was another damn good year for us. We only lost against Onsite. Yeah, so we have played a grand total of 22 matches in the regular season. And we have won 21 of them. That's honestly pretty damn good. Is the map name Hardlet LE? Yes, that is the map name. The A is silent, mate. I don't make this stuff up, but people have a heart attack if I would call it hard lead, even though that's what I called it in the beginning. It's like, no, it's not hard lead. It's hard let. So, thank you to Athil for the 30. Do I see 33 months there, mate? Alright, we'll stop. I'm doing a recording as well. A lot of these games get posted to YouTube, so I gotta behave a little bit from my regular streaming self, but it's closer this season, right? Yeah. I mean, honestly, we were not even supposed to finish second in the regular season. Last year, it felt that we had an amazing year, but we just kind of got pipped by one map in the very, very, very end, which was a little bit unlucky. This year, it was a bit tougher. Just a lot of matches went to the ace match. Other teams really stepped up their game. Like Shopify Rebellion was way up there for the longest time. Last season, they didn't even make it into the playoffs. DKZ was stronger this year. Obviously, Team Liquid got a lot stronger by picking up Cure. So, yeah. There are only two things I hate in this world. People who are intolerant of other people's cultures and the Dutch. Not sure if sarcasm or serious, but I hope you're joking. I feel like it's pretty hard to hate on the Dutch. Like, I don't think we really do a whole lot wrong. You can obviously hate on Max Verstappen making F1 boring. Or Feyenoord fans sometimes being donkeys when they travel, but other than that, I don't really think my country does a whole lot wrong in the year 2023. I've heard it before, yeah. I didn't know what movie it was, but I've heard the line before. Careful with that, streamer is Dutch. Streamer is also very chill, mate. You can make a joke or two in my channel as long as you're nice. Oh no, our kitchen is pretty bad, I know. But I do vouch for bitterball and frikandel, okay? Those are goated. But yes, other than that, I know we don't have the finest cuisine in the West. Serral is rallying a bunch of Zerglings to the third base of soO, as he's doing this off 29 drones. soO currently working with 33 drones. Serral winning this early micro battle. 2 Banelings, guys, on the top right side of our screen. 2 Banelings rolling into the mineral line, and the observer sees it too. Nice split. Actually, very nice split by soO. Well done. The only problem is that while this is happening, he is A, not mine. Oh no, he still lost 5 in the end. Okay, that's just brutal. That's just brutal, that's just sad, and that was not deserved, because the split was very good. I hate it, Akko. I hate Andivy, I hate Stumpled, I hate Zurkle. Well, Zurkle I can like sort of eat, but not really. As a kid, I was fed all these meals by my parents. As obviously, as a parent, you don't want to see your kid eat hamburgers and pizza every single day. So I had to eat it, but some of them, like Zurkle or Royakol, I hated it so much that I would like distract my parents, and then I would put some. This is a true story. Like my mom would really want me to finish my plate because obviously eating is important. But I hated it so much that I would grab some of it and I would put it in my pocket whenever my parents did not pay attention, and then I would empty my pockets in the restroom because I just could not finish it for my dear life. And obviously, like later on, my parents realized that this was a fight they were never going to win. Like I tried really hard, but I just thought it was so disgusting. What I do really love is bloemkool and aardappelen, which translates to cauliflower. And I like green beans, and I actually really like Brussels sprouts. A lot of kids hate it. But all these other meals that I just mentioned, I thought they were so disgusting that andivy, spinazie, like it makes me throw up. And I tried really hard, but I just couldn't. The good old fucking thread. Because my mom is the sweetest mom ever, and she was very, very, very good to me when I was growing up. But she would fume a little bit when I would just, and she would spend all this time making this food, and I would just not eat it. So eventually she's like, "Oh, fair enough, you just finish your plate." And I just couldn't, you know. Anyway, we have roaches and lings battling in the natural of Serral. Serral is taking a pretty hefty supply lead. Is up 11 workers as well. soO is stacking up to her lair. Serral's lair is already done. Ahead in upgrades, ahead in the roach speed. Overall, it just does not feel that soO at the moment has the level to really make Serral sweat in ZVZ. In Starcraft 2 period. How quickly did they realize? Well, I would clean out my pockets as well, Clara. My dad never cared. My dad was way too busy with running the bar that he had no time to worry about this stuff. But my mom did eventually find out once, and let's just say she wasn't very happy with me. He got punished. No Nintendo GameCube for a couple days, or Nintendo 64, whatever the hell I was playing. I wasn't trying to be annoying as a kid. I hated it so much. I just couldn't finish it. Thank you, Ivy, for the 37 months. What is a casual Dutch Christmas dinner? I think the most popular thing that Dutch people do during Christmas is either gourmet or fondue. Like one of the two. Cheese fondue, regular fondue. We pretty much always do gourmet together. Like heated plate in the center of the table. Put some meat on it. Make some French fries and garlic bread next to it. Just have a good old feast. Have a dessert. Enjoy some wine. What is the second food he mentioned? What is regular fondue? I never did the fondue, but I don't think every fondue needs to be a cheese fondue, right? Or is it always a cheese fondue? I don't know. I had a fondue once in O Gaming in Paris. Regular is like soup. Nothing wrong with a good old soup. Alright. Yeah, I don't really know how to say all of that stuff. When I have to pronounce French words in English and my entire head is congested, it's gonna be very hard to understand me, guys. My French is le terrible. What is not le terrible, guys, is the performance of the Basilisk boys so far today. As Serral says, alright, so let's go ahead and have a good old roach ravager battle. Do you remember Year Zero? And soO says, of course I do. It's one of the greatest DVZs I've ever played. And Serral said, alright, this one right here is for that Year Zero game. Time to set the record straight. And after all these years, have a tiny bit of revenge for the Intel Extreme Masters 2019. Serral is still an absolute animal in the game. And soO is obviously a good Starcraft 2 player. But does not really have, I think, the level at the moment to compete with these guys. It seems like it's going to be a clean 4-0 start for us, and that means that we clinch second place, guys, in the regular season. Came out of nowhere. A big, big shout out and thank you to the folks from Storm Gaming who performed incredibly well yesterday. They took out DKZ. We performed well today as we take out the Africa Freecs 4-0. It is all over. We'll have 2 more bonus games though. And that means we finish second. And finishing second means that at the bare minimum, we will finish top 3 in the playoffs. But obviously, we are not entering the playoffs to finish top 3. But it is still nice. Back-to-back seasons, we finish second in the regular season after 11 play days. Hopefully, they'll show us the standing later or somebody can fix Liquipedia. But the only thing that really matters is what I tell you. On-site gaming will start in the grand finals in the playoffs. We are going to start 1 round prior to that. And that means that we will play against any of the other teams that are currently in the playoffs, but only 1. So it will most likely start off with Mystery Gaming versus Team Liquid. The winner of that will play, I think, Shopify. The winner of that will... No. The winner of that plays Storm. So it's Mystery Gaming against Team Liquid. The winner of that plays Storm. The winner of all of that plays Shopify. The winner of all of that plays DKZ. And the winner of all of that will meet Basilisk. And then Basilisk versus whoever the hell that team may be. The winner of that match will play in the grand finals against On-Site Gaming, which is the team of Maru, Solar, and Reynor. At the Kuka 2-0 for the boys today. I think it's their hair, Reynor. What if you will forever just stay undefeated with this hair in WTL Code S?